part by Volvo. Pay nothing to repair or maintain your new Volvo for the first 5 years. Volvo for life. By IOTV. IOTV offers you incredible HD picture and sound. Get the best in HD free. And by Avis, the official rental car of the New York Yankees. Well, the Yankees won 5 of their last 6 games. And this is the final game of their homestand. 3 games against the, this is the final series, should I say. 3 games against the Blue Jays. Yankees have taken the field. And let's take a look at the Blue Jays starting lineup that they'll face, presented by Bank of America. Rajai Davis in center will lead off. Corey Patterson, the left fielder, bats second. Jose Bautista in right field will bat third. Cleaning up the shortstop, Yunel Escobar. Juan Rivera at first base bats fifth. Batting sixth, playing second base, Aaron Hill. Eric Thames, the DH, will bat seventh. Batting eighth and catching, J.P. Arancibia, and Edwin Encarnacion will play third base. He's going to bat ninth. And here's the numbers on Bartolo Colon. 9 games, 6 starts, 2-2, 3.16 ERA, 47 hits and 11 walks in 51 in the third innings, 48 strikeouts. Opponents hitting .241 against him.
Let's take a look at the Jeep pitcher scouting report. Off a gem, off his last game in Baltimore, 8 shutout innings, less than 90 pitches. The good stuff, I mean, he's not fooling people. He's not the old guy that's kind of transformed himself. I'm going to transition right into my third point here,
nice.
Michael. Velocity and movement. The velocity at mid-90s, and his two-seamers all over the place, which means he still has really good stuff.
His last start against the Orioles, which you said was a gem, he actually threw 97 in the final inning. So he has something in reserve when he needs it. So the beginning of a 3-game set, then the Yankees have Thursday off and then head off on a West Coast trip. Yankees are in first place with a 25-20 record. The Blue Jays close behind, 23-23. Colon is ready. Davis is ready. Let's do it here in the Bronx. First pitch is outside and we are underway. Want to keep Rajai Davis off base. This team will run, and Davis will especially run. There's a strike.
Last time I was in town, Rajai Davis had just come off the DL, and what a difference he made to this team. He had a really good series, but he's kind of not found his stroke from being on the DL and not in a form of being an everyday player. The 2-1. There's a strike. Nip the outside corner. Colon works quickly. Pounds the strike zone, and that one's fouled away. IOTV offers incredible HD picture and sound. Get the best in HD free. IOTV is the official HD service provider of Yankees baseball on Yes. The 2-2. Chopped slowly toward Cano. Hits the hustling Davis for the first time. Let's check out the Yankee defense, brought to you by your Mercedes-Benz Tri-State dealer. In the outfield, Gardner, Granderson, and Dickerson. Left to right. Infield, it's what you know. A-Rod, Jeter, Cano, Teixeira third to first. Russell Martin behind the plate. And Bartolo Colon is on the mound. Going to bring up Corey Patterson. The thing that's fascinating about Colon, and Paul just brought it up in the scouting report, most pitchers, when they suffer injuries, they pretty much have to reinvent themselves. And that's what's happened with the Yankees' own Freddie Garcia. He used to throw nasty, hard sinker, 94, 95. He's not that pitcher anymore. He's a crafty righty. But Bartolo Colon is pitching the same way he did when he won the Cy Young Award in 2005. Aggressive, spots the fastball, and comes right after hitters like that. You see right there, and he's not afraid to come after. There's guys that throw mid-90s that still are afraid to go after hitters, and he's always been that way, even back when I used to face him with the Cleveland Indians. Just a power pitcher that kind of dares you to hit his fastball.
Like that. So Patterson down on strikes. Now you can talk to any baseball guy you want. You'll see how he paints right here. And Patterson said, I'm not going to take that. I'm going to swing through. But the best pitch is a well-placed fastball.
Wow, there's no doubt about it. And if you look at that replay of that pitch, that ball is right on the outside corner. 0-2 pitch. As a left-handed hitter, you haven't seen the ball inside. You see that front hip kind of opening up, kind of expecting a ball inside. Can't catch up to it outside.
Here's Bautista. This will be an interesting matchup. Bautista is all world. He leads the American League in average, in home runs, and he's second in RBIs with 31 behind Adrian Gonzalez. That one is driven deep to left center field. Going back, Granderson on the track at the wall. It's gone. A home run for Jose Bautista, his 19th of the year, and the Blue Jays have a 1-0 lead.
Tell you what, Michael, after a while you come to expect it, and it was very interesting how Colon started him out. He had thrown fastballs to other, earlier in the game, four-seamers. He threw Bautista a two-seamer his first pitch, and he comes back with a four-seamer, which you're, as a great hitter, which he is, you can elevate. And that ball right there had no sink on it.
It's an amazing story. This guy continues to hit home runs. And if he continues on this pace, he's going to finish with 63 home runs.
See, he's on his front side, but he's able to just get that bat head out in front. You see total extension there. I mean, he must pick up the ball. Some hitters see the ball much better, much earlier, because he never gets cheated at the plate. He takes a big swing.
10 home runs in May for Bautista. He now has 9 home runs in 24 games against the Yankees. Escobar takes inside.
It's amazing if you could just take the confidence that Bautista has as a hitter and just implant it in every hitter in baseball. And some of the great hitters that don't believe they could be that good, it's just amazing how confident he is.
That one's inside first and down the right field line. Dickerson plays it out there. He's going to hold Escobar to a single. Good throw by Dickerson.
Escobar a little late on the fastball, kind of just goes with it. Every once in a while, as a hitter, you hit it hard. The only question is, was I too late? But that ball got right inside the first baseline. Good ricochet out there for Dickerson. It's funny, as a right fielder, you kind of peek to see if the guy's going, and you see he's not going, but it's still a good opportunity to air your arm out a little bit, practice a throw. Guys don't take infield anymore, so every once in a while you take that throw to second base in case you need it later.
There's Juan Rivera, and a base hit through the left side. So 2 quick outs and a home run and 2 singles.
See, this two-seamer ends up, you start to see that catcher's glove move towards the middle of the plate. You start to see balls hit hard. Fair drives the ball hard, finds a hole.
Here's Aaron Hill.
Sudden Colon comes out, blows away the first couple of guys, and then gives up a home run and a couple of hard hit balls. And you start to wonder, wow, maybe my stuff isn't as good as I think. But again, he continues to go after guys. That's Joe Girardi and Larry Rothschild will always appreciate that.
94-mile-an-hour fastball to Aaron Hill. .95, and he pops it foul. In his previous 6 starts, Colon had allowed 5 hits in the first inning total. So he has already allowed 3 this inning. The 0-2. 1-2.
Took something off that. Good pitch. Good 0-2 pitch. That ball was in the zone long enough to get a swing. And Hill laid off of it. These are important outs, though. Early in the game, you get out of there. Bautista, he's a great hitter. Took me deep. I gave up 1. But if you get out of that without giving up any more, you go out there in the second inning, you still have your good stuff.
Missed outside.
It's funny, over the weekend, I think that was a strike, wasn't it?
They had a pretty wide strike zone all week. Scott Barry is behind the plate. The 2-2. 3-2, that's going to release the runners. That'll be a strike tomorrow, Paul. John Hirschbeck is behind the plate.
Good chance.
Escobar off second, Rivera off first. 2 outs, just underway. Blue Jays with a run.
You see that, you say, oh, wow, that's down to 91, but that's a two-seam fastball. Had great movement on it. Not much you can do as a hitter, but beat it into the ground. Really mixing the four-seamer up with the two-seamer his first inning.
2 outs, runners in scoring position this year. Opponents are 3 for 15 against Cologne. Runners go again. That's scorched the center field, but right there is Granderson, and that's going to do it. 1 run on 3 hits, 2 men left. We told you about Bautista coming in. The scouting report was correct. He goes long ball, his 19th of the year. Blue Jays won. Yankees coming to bat. Is the pitcher for the Blue Jays. He has a 1-0 record with a 1.48 ERA. 10 hits, 10 walks in 24 innings. 21 strikeouts. Opponents at 132 against him. Now here's the Jeet pitcher scouting report.
Well, it's been a while. I mean, he hasn't. His last start was in 09. I mean, he's been in the bullpen. He's been doing a great job. His road dominance. I mean, this is an unbelievable stat. He's given up 1 hit on the road this year in over 11 innings. And the unknown. The only thing about the unknown is every once in a while, as fans, you'll see, Yankees have a little trouble with guys that they don't know real well, the starters.
And that dates back to your years too.
Getting me in it already. That's a long time ago.
Long time. We're talking over a decade now. No, a decade. Here's Derek Jeter, 25 hits away from 3,000. And he takes a strike. Derek with the big hit yesterday. Bases loaded, and he singles up the middle off Mike Pelfrey. That tied the game at 3. And the Yankees never looked back. It was a tough inning for the Mets, a great inning for the Yankees. They strung together hits. They laid down bunts. They got it done to beat the Mets. That one's driven out to right field, giving Chase Bautista. I don't run out of room.
Obviously, I wasn't here over the weekend, but Michael, you've seen a lot of the Subway Series. Have they lost a little of the excitement, the flair, or was it still here?
You know what? It's hard to say that they've lost any of the excitement. I mean, they had huge crowds each day. The fans are into it, and I think the level of baseball is pretty high. I think 6 games might be a lot, but it's hard to argue when they sell out the 6 games.
Well, I mean, 6 game when it's home and home. Right. You know, I always look forward to it because I thought it was 3 away games that you got to stay at home for anyway, and you knew there was going to be excitement, and you knew the fans were going to be in it. So that part of interleague, I really love. I always love playing the Mets.
And the 0-2. 1-2.
You see different radar numbers for Villanueva. I mean, he's got a great changeup, good little curveball, just enough on his fastball to get it in when you're looking for his off-speed stuff. But like we said, he's done a great job in the bullpen, given an opportunity to start now.
Jeter's worked the count even, 2-2. Blue Jays a .500 record. They just lost 2 out of 3 to the Astros in their interleague matchup.
But, you know, you think about the Astros, and you know the Blue Jays have been playing pretty good baseball, even with those losses. They won 7 out of 10, so they expected to, especially at home, to kind of beat up on the Astros. Very disappointed losing 2 out of 3.
See, those are the series, though, I think that people complain about. Because really, does that engender any enthusiasm? The Blue Jays against the Astros?
Yeah, and it depends on if you're if you're a National League guy that has moved to Toronto and you never get to see National League guys, it might. But
off-speed pitch, Jeter way out in front.
You know, interleague definitely plays better for the big cities that have two teams. There's no doubt about it.
Let's check out the Blue Jays defense, brought to you by your Mercedes-Benz Tri-State dealer, Patterson, Davis, and Bautista. Left to right in the outfield, Bautista has a great arm, by the way. Infield, Encarnacion, Escobar, Hill, and Rivera. That's third to first. Aaron Sebia behind the plate, and Villanueva is on the mound. Here's Granderson. Can he keep pace with Bautista? Now, Granderson has 16 home runs. So you might say, well, when did he hit his 16th last year? September 2nd.
Yeah, most of those were hit in the second half. You remember he got off to kind of a tough start and really just turned it on, kind of a new swing. Last year has rolled it right over into this year.
Count 1-1. Let's check out the Delta League leaders. Bautista hit his 19th, then Granderson, and then you got Teixeira and Braun. That's big league leaders. And the 1-2. Swing and a miss, so a lot of off-speed stuff from Villanueva. He gets Jeter and he gets Granderson.
Left-handers always like the ball down and in, so it's a very tough pitch for lefties to lay off, and it's a good pitch for a pitcher. He started out, ended up out of the zone. For some reason, I don't know why it is. I was included in that match, that low pitch down and into a lefty just seems to go into your swing.
Here's Mark Teixeira. And a strike.
You were a righty.
Yes. Still in.
Deadpool hitter?
Oh.
Yeah.
It's like wherever I could hit the ball.
It didn't matter.
Didn't really aim. Missed outside, 1-1. The shift is on for Teixeira. The only infielder on the left side is Encarnacion. Hill playing in shallow right. Foul back. Let's look at the game time weather presented by Bigelow Tea. Always a favorite of Paul's. 66 degrees. Humidity is 87%. The wind 12 miles per hour. And the forecast is cloudy. Also scattered thunderstorms. That's been your life this summer.
I'll tell you what, it is. Cincinnati has not been blue skies this year, and I guess New York hasn't either.
And not blue skies for the Yankees that inning as they strike out 1-2-3. Villanueva strikes out the side. We've played one here in New York. It's 1-0 Blue Jays. Blue Jays, and we will also get a chance during this inning to talk to our very own Kimberly Jones. She's in the third base camera well, and you know, Kim, we see Bartolo Colon, and his performance this year has been a revelation, but I don't think we really know that much about him. You spend a lot of time in the clubhouse with these guys. What do the players think about him? What do you see? What don't we know?
He laughs a lot, Michael. That's what I see. And his teammates, in a word, say he is hysterical. Here are a couple examples. Before his last start, he looked at Jabba Chamberlain in the visiting clubhouse in Baltimore and said, "Don't even go to the bullpen tonight. I got this." He later pitched 8 shutout innings against the Orioles. And during that outing, Derek Jeter was the DH. He doesn't love that necessarily, but one thing he enjoyed that night was every time Colon came back to the dugout, he high-fived every single person in the clubhouse. Derek Jeter laughed hard even recounting that story. And Andrew Jones told me today, hey, I've been around a long time and I've seen a lot of pitchers. I've never seen a guy like this on game day. He is as loose as they come. He is out there. And Andrew Jones reminded me of a story from the Detroit trip. After Colon's first inning that day, he had given up a couple of hits but no runs. He got back to the dugout, looked at Robinson Cano and Andrew Jones and said, they broke up my no-hitter. And then he sat down beside them.
We're showing him walking out of the bullpen right now. Always a big smile on his face. That one is skied to left center. Gardner makes the call and the catch. You know what I think of most when I think of that Baltimore start, Kim? Every time we had a shot of him in the dugout, he's laughing. And it was a 1-0 game. So it wasn't like, you know, you had time to laugh, but he
he handles it differently than any starting pitcher I've ever seen.
Yeah, and Michael, the thing about it is, if you go up to one of these players and say, hey, what were you in Cologne talking about? They just say, well, I don't remember that time, because he's always laughing with us. That's who he is. Ramon Rodriguez, the bullpen catcher for the Yankees, who also helps us translate with Cologne after his starts, told me he's always the same guy, whether he's starting or not.
That's exactly how O'Neill was in the clubhouse, Kim. Always the same guy.
I've heard that.
This is Kim Jones's report. How did I get in the middle of this, you know? I was just getting ready to walk out of the room, and you brought me right back in. Kim, take over. Don't mind him.
All right, now, Bautista hit the home run off Cologne, and I know you spoke to a lot of his teammates, and you know, the view from outside looking in is the guy's a great hitter.
Yeah.
Well, what type of teammate is he, and what do they think of him?
Well, I talked to Jose Molina, who, of course, agrees about the great hitting part, but he said, you only see the results. He said, what we see is the hard work. Jose Molina telling me that's the thing about Bautista that has surprised him the most since he got to Toronto. He works as hard as anyone he's ever seen. He is also very giving of his knowledge to his teammates. He'll get back to the dugout, tell him everything he's seen. Jose Molina tells me that indicates he is a team-first guy, even though he's putting up these individual numbers. And Bautista also signed a big contract in the offseason, Michael. Molina tells me he's still humble, and we appreciate that, too.
You see Arancibia go down on strikes. Now, very quickly, the #2 home run hitter in Major League Baseball is Curtis Granderson. I'm sure the Yankees rave about him at every turn.
Absolutely. Joe Girardi calling him invaluable, but this might surprise you. Well, this part won't, because we know that Curtis Granderson does not consider himself a power hitter. He's also not happy with himself at the plate lately. Why? In the past 3 series, Granderson said, I've had 6 hits, 7 strikeouts. That's nothing to brag about. He wants those numbers to change, but he also admires what Bautista's done, but says the 2 of them in this series, the only thing they have in common, their teams are playing against each other.
Very quickly, bullpen-wise, is Jabba Chamberlain available today?
Not available tonight because of recent workload. He did warm up last night, so Joe Girardi says he will stay away from Chamberlain.
Is his eye okay? I've been reading that he thought he had pink eye, then it was an inflammation.
Yeah, Girardi said that was news to him. He said that has nothing to do with it, and Jabba is wearing his glasses in the clubhouse earlier, but he says he's fine.
Do you have anything for Kim, Paul?
No, I noticed Jabba down there with glasses before the game. I thought it was a new thing, new style.
There's a swing and a miss. The bat goes one way. Kim, we will talk to you a little bit later on.
Thank you.
All right, that's Kim Jones. Edwin Encarnacion goes down on strikes. Cologne pitches a 1-2-3 inning. We go to the bottom of the second. 1-0 Jays. Tonight's question is, which sport will produce the next Triple Crown winner? Well, this is tough. You can text your vote to 58772. Standard text messaging rate applies. It could be baseball, where you have to have highest average, highest home run, highest RBIs, or it will be horse racing. We have to win the Kentucky Derby, the Preakness, and the Belmont. Well, Animal Kingdom didn't win the Preakness.
I'm still going with the horse racing. I don't see one player because of the way, you know, baseball's set up. I mean, you got guys like Ichiro that can hit 350. You got guys like Bautista that can hit 50 home runs.
Rodriguez with a high fly ball at Davis. The last time the Triple Crown has been done in the American League was Carl Yastrzemski. That was in '67. Ducky Medwick did it in 1937. And the last time we had it in horse racing was 1978. Steve Coffin from England aboard Affirmed. But you know what? You say you don't think it can be done, but after his home run in the first inning, Bautista leads in average home runs, and he's only 9 behind in RBIs. Usually if you have that big-time home run total, you don't have a high average.
And that's what's so amazing about him is everybody gets caught up in his home runs, just what he's doing, what other things he's doing on the field. Walks. I mean, he's leading this team he's leading the world in about every category.
That one's grounded to first. Rivera flips to Villanueva. 1 out, or 2 outs. Cano is now 1 for his last 13.
They're very surprised, and you see Robbie Cano hitting 270 or something, and it's obviously it's acceptable at the major league level, but for a hitter like him, I mean, you just assume look, he can hit 300 blindfolded. He's got that good of a swing, so you just, as a manager, as a fan, you just look back by the end of the year, you expect him to be over 300 again. See, right at the end, he stays through the ball so well, and you saw right at the end of that swing, he just kind of jerked and tried to lift that ball instead of staying through it.
Russell Martin takes a strike.
See, right at contact, Robbie usually just goes right through the ball. He gets to the ball, and you see it's just a slight uppercut, which is not his best swing.
Breaking ball away. Martin 10 hits in his last 32 at-bats, putting together a great first season with the Yankees. Done a nice job behind the plate and a nice job at the plate. The 1-1. A lot of off-speed stuff from Villanueva. Russell Martin with 4 hits and 5 at-bats against Villanueva.
This is where you really get a feeling if you're facing a guy that trusts his fastball at all, a guy who's got a good changeup. You get that 3-1 count, 2 outs. Is he going to challenge me with the fastball, or is he going to go to his breaking ball for the fastball? Probably off the plate, but every once in a while that 3-2 pitch and that 3-1 pitch, plate gets a little bit bigger. I'm saying ball, Michael. How about you? Yep, off the corner just a little.
The last couple of games that would have been striking Leiter and Cone here.
Oh, absolutely.
3-2. High pop-up. Shallow left. Corey Patterson makes the catch. And a 10-pitch inning for Villanueva as the Yankees go down in order. We'll go to the third. 1-0 Toronto. May 23rd, 1962, Joe Pepitone hits 2 home runs in 1 inning to help the Yankees defeat the Kansas City A's 13-7. Demand greatness in every sip and every season. Johnny Walker, proud sponsor of the New York Yankees. Joe Pepitone. Rajay Davis leads off. Hey, I made a terrible mistake in the previous inning. I have to correct it. You see on the Lincoln scoreboard, 1-0 Blue Jays. I said that Steve Coffin was from England. He's an American jockey who moved to England after his success, so I apologize for not saying that the right way.
I just let that stuff go, Mike.
No,
bring it back. The fans would never know.
Oh, but people would.
They would. They'd text you or something?
No, it would be more than text.
Oh,
There's an infield single for Rajay Davis.
Michael, this is a picture of Russell Martin going back to the dugout after that 3-1 pitch, and I'll tell you exactly what happens. All right, it's 3-1. All right, mentally, I just let go of that at bat. That's ball 4. And I know it shouldn't happen as a hitter, but what happens is you get back and then you fly out because you did not get back into the bat. And it's frustrating as a hitter because you feel like that umpire kept you in there where you should have been on first base. Did you recognize that look, Michael?
Yeah, I see it to my left. Rajay Davis at first, so the Yankees are going to try to keep him close. He had 5 stolen bases in the last series against the Yankees. It's tough to steal off of Colon, though. He has a very quick move toward first. Breaking ball strike.
He doesn't throw a lot of it. His breaking ball is not a slow breaking ball. Doesn't throw a lot of balls in the dirt. Quick to the plate.
Colon gave up a stolen base in his last start against the Orioles. I think that was his first one in like 159 innings. Yankees calling from the bench a bit of a pitch out, and Russell Martin will go and talk with Colon. Now, you said you faced Colon, right?
Mm-hmm.
It was when he was with the Indians. How do you think you did against him?
I remember getting some hits. I don't know how many, but I got some hits off of him.
1 for 15.
Come on.
Yeah.
I said hits. I didn't say hit. I had 1 hit.
1 hit.
That's a misprint. Huh? 1 for 15. Wow.
You don't remember it that way, so it wasn't overpowering, right?
The hit was up the middle. I remember a hit I got off of him. I thought I remembered more.
Quick throw to first.
outs, man on first, Patterson at the bat, and you look at the on-deck circle, boy, you don't ever want to let these guys set the table for Bautista where you cannot pitch around.
I was asking Joe Girardi yesterday, Paul, what's the best way to pitch to Bautista? He said, make sure there's nobody on base. Because I don't know if anybody in baseball has really figured out the way to go about this guy right now. Count 2-1 to Patterson.
Davis doing a good job of just, you know, kind of setting off the rhythm of Colon and really helping Patterson. He's worried, trying to hold him on. He's moving. A lot of times the pitcher can get away from what he's trying to do and just trying to lose sight of the batter. So he starts with a real short lead so he can try to walk into something, get a better jump. A lot of times guys will get their lead and have to hold. Davis is trying to walk into a lead, but Colon is smart enough, been around long enough to make him stop so he doesn't get a running jump. Later now to see if he can. He's still kind of holding. Good job by Colon.
Hopped up. Russell Martin will make the play. Runner tags from first, but he just bluffed. All right, so here comes Jose Bautista. Let's check out the Home Depot hitter scouting report, Paul.
I mean, wow, what do you say? I mean, 54 home runs last year. He's leading the majors in everything, really, which goes right into total offense. But the one thing that you really want to stress is he's an all-around player, and a lot of the things go unnoticed because of his offensive numbers. I mean, he's a great outfielder. He throws the ball well. He hustles. He plays hard. And it's a guy from the outside that you really root for because he worked to get where he is. I mean, he was with a lot of organizations. He wasn't a guy that was just given a job. He worked hard, and he's become a great player.
There's a strike. Had a home run his first time up, his 19th of the year. How's this for a stat? He has 19 homers, Paul, and 32 runs batted in. So he's only driven in 13 teammates. He has not gotten that many opportunities with guys on base.
You see when he's getting challenged. I mean, Bartolo Colon challenged him in the first inning, 2 outs, nobody on. And that's the one run, the solo homers, they usually don't beat you. It's the the crooked numbers when you add them up at the end of the game that end up giving the pitchers a loss.
Well, check this out, Paul. He has batted with only 108 runners on base, and that's 94th in the major leagues. So teams are getting the guys out in front of him. Missed outside. Scott Barry telling the Yankee dugout that wasn't close. The 1-2. 2-2.
Well, this is kind of two different philosophies here, Michael. If you're Davis at first base, and do you try to steal second base if you get a great jump and kind of take the bat out of Bautista's hands, or do you play the game and try to set up for a big inning and let Rivera try to drive in runs? And if I'm the manager, obviously I want Bautista swinging the bat. You?
I don't think I would steal. I would not give them an opportunity to pass him.
But with 2 strikes as a hitter, sometimes when you get a guy on second base, it really makes you kind of dial in.
But if he steals, they might walk him.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so I mean, you'll never get a chance if you're the hitter with the 2 strikes. And he so rarely hits with guys on base that you gotta let him hit. Runner goes. The throw to second. In time. See, Paul, I don't know how that's smart. You just took a runner off base for a guy who has 19 home runs.
Yeah, and what I was talking about is, you know, the first he gave him 2 strikes. Now all of a sudden, as a hitter, obviously Bautista's a great hitter, but you know, you see that he held him where he didn't get a walking lead. This is a lot closer than it looks. Looks like he did get him, but now you put him in a position where he would have got a walk with 2 strikes. And now you know, the guy's going to go out. Colon's going to go after him right now anyway. So, you know, this team we've talked about, they run in awkward times, and you don't know whether it's right or wrong. Obviously,
looked like he might have been safe. So they walk Bautista, and Davis has now been caught 5 times in 17 attempts. So let's check out the play at second base now with the Coors Light freeze cam. During the replay, I thought that he was in there. We'll see. Hard to tell right there. What do you think, Paul?
You know what? Before I saw a replay, I thought he was safe. Robbie got a good tag in there quick. Very bang bang play. If we can't figure it out on the freeze cam, that's a tough one.
How do we expect Wally Bell to see it?
But when you're playing, you expect him.
Yep.
Expect him to see it right too.
Here's Yunel Escobar. Very strange, don't you think? Can you remember a shortstop back in cleanup? I guess Cal Ripken, right? And
A-Rod.
Yeah.
Come on, you beat me to the punch here. You asked me a question.
I mean, Yunel Escobar is not that sort of hitter, right?
Well, you know, Lynn's out of the lineup now.
Right.
And, you know, that their true first baseman who was really swinging the bat well.
Ground ball to short. Jeter goes the short way, and that'll do it. No runs, you hit, no errors, and 1 man left. Go to the bottom of the third, 1-0 Blue Jays. In order, 2 straight innings against the right-hander Carlos Villanueva. And it's going to be Posada, Gardner, and Dickerson on the Lincoln scoreboard. It's 1-0 Toronto. Posada 1 for 6 against the Mets, 8 for his last 24, hitting 182. Slow 60-mile-per-hour breaking ball.
That's almost the Ephus pitch, isn't it?
Pretty close. There's a strike. So that pitch was 80 miles per hour. Must have looked like 100 after 60.
The old changeup, and you figure, you know, that with that first pitch, you're going to see a fastball, good arm, you know, good arm speed, and you get a changeup.
'60, 80, 76.
To see Georgie just seems to be in a hole every time he steps to the plate. You know, you're trying to make that perfect swing or trying to find that perfect groove, and before you know it, you're 0-2 or 1-2. Very frustrating, and I mean, he's been such a great player. It's just going to be a year where he's going to have to dig himself out of a hole. You become more tired mentally than you do going out and getting the extra work.
2-2. Posada batting 7th in the lineup tonight. He's the DH. Nick Swisher has the night off. Second straight game he has not played against the right-hander. The 2-2. Now 3-2. And Brett Gardner is on deck. Grounded to first. Juan Rivera flips to Villanueva. 1 out. Take the Yankees with you when you travel out of the Yankees home territory. Subscribe to MLB.tv today to see Yankees games live or on demand on your computer and your favorite devices. Visit Yankees.com to order and get more details. MLB.tv. Baseball everywhere. Villanueva with 30 pitches. His high pitch count this year was 69 pitches, which he threw over 4 2/3 innings of relief on May 7th. Gardner 27 for his last 70. So he has certainly picked it up, the average up to 267. He was buried on the interstate for most of April. Encarnacion in on the grass at third, guarding against the bunt. Count 1-1. Month of April, 194. This month, 355. At what time of the year did you start to really be concerned if your average was low?
You get into May,
yeah,
and you're still in the 100s. You're just, like I said, you just know you're going to have to dig out of it all year. I mean, and you're going to end up, you're not going to end up with the career year that you wanted, and it's the realization of that that kind of really bothers you. But it's just you got to try to get back to, have a good week, have a good game, and then hopefully it turns into a good month. Because if you try, what happens is you try to make it change now, and you want to look up at that scoreboard, and you don't want to see yourself hitting 180. You want to be hitting 280 or 300, and you can't do that in 3 or 4 bats.
The 3-1 to Gardner. 3-2. Villanueva is in the rotation. So many injuries to the Blue Jays staff, so they're trying to piece it together. The people start coming back. And the Yankees have their first hit. It's in the gap. Davis cuts the ball off. Gardner's going for 2. He's going to make it standing up. Speed kills.
Well, out of the box there, Gardner's probably thinking, I got a shot for a triple, but I tell you what, Rajai Davis makes a really good play just to cut this ball off. No chance of throwing Gardner out at second. And if that ball gets to the wall, it's a sure triple. You got speed in the outfield, and you got speed on the bases. Good swing. We talked about Robinson Cano earlier with a slight uppercut. He usually has a level swing. You saw Gardner's bat right there, right through the zone. Completely level swing. Ends up with a line drive.
So the Yankees have their first base runner, and here is Chris Dickerson. 4 hits and 8 at-bats this year. Scary moment for Dickerson in Baltimore. Got hit in the head by Mike Gonzalez. Cracked the bill of his helmet. Had a slight concussion, but did not go on the DL. Didn't play for a couple of days, and made a big contribution against the Mets yesterday.
I just walked out on the field today, was watching a little batting practice, talking to Joe Girardi, and was watching Dickerson take some BP, hit some long home runs. And I said, has anybody up in batting practice been in the upper deck? It wasn't 5 seconds after I said that. He hit a ball off, which is lit up right now with the Frenchies sign up there, and right, absolute bomb.
Popped up. Sky high. Tough sky at this time of the night, but Encarnacion makes the play for the second out.
Right up here now, that doesn't look much there, but if you keep coming down, you'll see a lot, obviously, of home runs in this deck. A lot in second to get up in here, and he hit it right off of that sign. Kind of hard on TV to tell how far that is, because how high you have to hit it at the distance.
So when you go mustard, when you go French, that's
way
pretty
up.
shot.
That's putting mustard on it, right?
Here's Derek Jeter. Derek struck out in the first inning.
Just came, but you don't eat mustard or ketchup or anything like that.
That's right.
That's right. Hasn't your wife talked you into like trying something other than like a piece of chicken or something?
She knew who she married.
Oh, that was in the vows.
You were there. I don't remember. It was all a happy blur for me. The only player to reach that upper deck in a game was Russell Brandon. Big, strong lefty batter.
I believe Mark Teixeira has gotten into the luxury suites under the French's mustard sign. Leo 1. 1-1.
You're talking about mixing up speeds, mixing up the break of the ball. Villanueva does a good job. And on paper, he would never really impress you. 90, 91 is a fastball, but he's got a great changeup, good curveball, uses to both sides of the plate. You really have to concentrate as a hitter when you're facing guys like this. That's a top fastball right there, 91. That ball is just up out of the zone a little bit. Derek, good pitch to hit. That's a pitch that he can handle that he usually shoots to right field.
The 1-2. Line drive right at Hill. So Cheater hit it hard, but Hill was right there. No runs to hit, no errors, and one man left on base. How does Daddy react on a hard hit ball? Oh, like most Yankee fans. First quit line quiz. Who are the 3 Hall of Famers to play for both the Yankees and the Blue Jays?
I know one.
We'll find out all 3 in the bottom of the inning.
I'm gonna try to get 2 before we get there.
Juan Rivera will lead off against Bartolo Colon. One mistake by Colon, a home run by Jose Bautista in the first. Line drive right at Jeter. One away. Let's take a look at the Blue Jays team scouting report, brought to you by Volvo and given to you by Paul O'Neill.
Well, they can hit the long ball. That's obvious. I mean, they're second in the American League behind the Yankees. And, you know, they're competing in the best division in baseball. Always has been. And they're doing a pretty good job. And they like to run. We talked about it. They run it at awkward times. And John Farrell said that, you know, he's going to continue to do it, put pressure on the defense. They're not far away from being a pretty good baseball team.
The 0-1. 1-1. Aaron Hill flied out to center. That was in the first. Boy, he just lives on the outside corners. Paul mentioned the East, and it is the beast this year. From top to bottom, just 4 games separate the Yankees and the last place Orioles. No one's running away. 1-2.
It definitely has complications with the wild card because, you know, you're playing these teams, every one of them who are capable of beating you 18 times. So, you know, you're not going to have 100, 105 wins. You're not going to have a couple teams, you know, with that type of number. So, you know, you might have to win this division this year to get to the playoffs.
Swing and a miss. Got him on the breaking ball.
You said it, Michael. I mean, this is a good breaking ball too because it ends up out of the strike zone. As a hitter, you know, you've almost taken the breaking ball out of the equation when you go up to hit because he's thrown so few. But when he gets ahead with 2 strikes, use it to get a strikeout.
Here's Eric Thames, spelled like Marcus Timms spells his name, but pronounced Thames. High fly ball down the left field line, and it's out of play.
Thames has had an interesting career. He was at Pepperdine trying to beat out an infield hit. When he hit first base with his right foot, he tore his right quadricep muscle in half. And that completely dropped him down in the draft. The Blue Jays ended up taking him in the 7th round in 2009. The injury occurred in 2008. But he's put up big numbers in their minor league system. When they called him up from AAA Las Vegas last week, 342, 6 homers and 30 runs batted in, and an OPS of 1.029. There's his resume. May 18th was his major league debut. That's got a piece to stay alive. And John Farrell, the manager, said if he hits, you can't worry about Travis Snyder coming back. He's going to keep the job. And if Lynn comes back, he's going to keep the job. All he has to do is hit the way he hit AAA. This is his time now. The 0-2. I think somebody put a stopwatch on him in the Blue Jay clubhouse last week. They say he has a broad smile on his face every 10 seconds.
You know, as a young player, you hear the manager say that, but in your mind, there's this time clock going on. You know, 15 days DL. You try to put together so many things. You try to do so many things in a couple weeks. So they do have to make a decision when somebody comes back. Great pitch.
91 miles an hour on the inside part of the plate. And Thames is down looking. We go to the bottom of the 4th. It's 1-0 Toronto. The New York State Smokers Quit Line quiz. Who are the 3 Hall of Famers that play for both the Yankees and the Blue Jays?
Dave Winfield, I know, right?
That's one. Let's see the other 2.
They didn't sneak Ricky.
Ricky and Phil Negro.
Negro's the one I would have never got. Ricky Henderson would have got.
Curtis Granderson will lead off, struck out in the 1st inning. Yankees now will get their second look at Villanueva. 1-0 they trail. Derek Jeter hit the ball hard his second time up, but right at the second baseman Aaron Hill. And the count 2-0. And a strike. 8 home runs on the road, 8 home runs on the road, at home, 8 home runs against righties, 8 home runs against lefties.
You pulled that on the slot machine, you'd have a good day, right?
Never have to work again if you put enough in.
Yeah, it depends what you're playing nickels, you're working. Huh?
There's a couple double 8s. Yogi Berra and Bill Dickey.
Talk to Yogi today.
How is Yogi?
Yogi looked good. He was talking about his golf tournament. He was a little bummed out. He was going to hit golf balls today. It was too wet. Now, you know you're talking about Ford or Granderson. You know you're talking to an old timer when he was going over some of the old ballparks. And he was going, was it Sportsman's Park in St. Louis?
Yep.
Yeah, I used to wear a cabbage leaf in my head. I'm like, all right. What? There's Yogi. He said he lost a couple home runs because it hit a light tower and it was in play for the American League. And he had me all confused, though. But I couldn't. Yogi, are you listening to me? Not if you're listening to me, Yogi. No. He's the greatest, though.
Ground ball past the diving Hill. Granderson will go to 3rd. And the Yankees have runners on the corners and nobody out.
Ball 4 to Granderson. The next thing you know, 1st and 3rd, no outs. The shift kind of hurt him there. See Villanueva, you could see his reaction. He knew right when he was hit it was a double play ball, but with the shift, it ends up being a single. Taylor made double play with straight up defense.
Now, very quickly about the cabbage leaf that Yogi spoke about. Players in the old days used to have a cabbage leaf under their hat because it would keep them
cool.
down. Right.
Yeah. He was going over some of the ballparks that they would use to both the American League and the National League would play in the same ballpark with different rules. He told me kind of neat stories.
Here's Alex Rodriguez. He fouls it away. Alex had 4 hits in yesterday's 9-3 Yankee win over the Mets, and none of the 4 were really hard hit. But that's the way it works sometimes. Driven in 6 of 12 runners from third with less than 2 outs, and that should be higher for him.
See Alex take that inside fastball. I mean, if you're dead red, if you're looking fastball, you'll swing at that pitch. You can say he's looking off speed here. I've seen a lot of off speed off the end of the wave all night.
1-1. 1-2. Saw the .481 batting average over his last 6 games, and the Yankees are 5-1 in those 6. The only game they lost was against the knuckleballer R.A. Dickey on Friday, when they lost 2-1.
Funny, as a hitter, you go up with first and third, and you're in this mode to drive a ball, get both runs out, get in the gap, drive it out, whatever. All of a sudden, 2 strikes. Now you go in a little different mode of just get that guy in from third. Make sure you get a pitch up that you can drive to the outfield.
Bottom of the 4th inning, 1-0 Blue Jays, but the Yankees threatening. Runners on the corners and nobody out.
Tough at bat right here for being away, because Alex Rodriguez covers that slider so well, especially with 2 strikes, and he's thrown him in, kind of set up for that slider away. Now he's going to continue in. But with the breaking ball, he really just does not have a pitch right here that he can put him away with, or he's sure he can put him away with.
Swing and a miss. Put him away off speed.
Yeah, most guys would, set up to really blow somebody away or get a slider away. He had thrown him in all count, and then got a ball out over the plate with it was a changeup. Good piece of pitching. See Alex way out in front, kind of coming in, and you see that front shoulder opening up, and that's caused by those 3 or 4 pitches early in the count, all being on the inside part of the plate.
There's Robinson Cano, grounded to first in the 2nd, hitting .272. 1 hit in his last 13 at bats. Kevin Long said it best about Cano. He said if he swings at strikes, he's a superstar player. He said if he swings at pitches outside the zone, he's an average to barely above average player. He said that's what it comes down to. He's got to swing at strikes. And this year, he's gotten a little bit away from that. And Long said his greatness sometimes plays against him because his swing is so good that he could put bad pitches in play that others might not be able to reach. Now, Yogi Berra hit bad pitches.
Over his head, in the dirt, anything.
He said if I could see it, I could hit it. You playing in this golf tournament?
Absolutely.
I'm doing my radio show, though, so you'll come on, right?
You're not playing golf?
No.
You're the guy that told me on the air, would you shoot 120 on the front or something?
180.
180, sorry. I gave you the benefit for the doubt. Took 60 strokes off and you wouldn't take it.
The 1-1. That one's driven out to left center field. That's going to tie the game. Rajai Davis makes the catch. Tagging is Granderson. He'll score. It's a sac fly for Cano, and it's 1-1.
You talked about Robbie being, when he's at himself here, he'll drive this ball to left center field. See that front hip just leaking out a little bit. He's such a good hitter. when he keeps it in there and drives that ball to left field. He looks better in yes mo. Out front a little bit.
Here's Russell Martin. Pitch outside. So the walk always comes back to haunt you. You can say that over and over throughout baseball history. Leadoff walk to Granderson. That should have been a double play, but because of the shift, turns it into first and third. A strikeout and a fly ball, and it's a 1-1 game. So Canoa's 29th ribby.
Villanueva has really impressed me with the way he changes speed, his control, his thought process on how to get out hitters. But, you know, he's had a couple long innings. We talked and he had a start since 09. So, you know, he's probably going to make it through one more inning maybe.
Breaking ball.
These are just around the plate with everything. His changeup, his fastball, his curveball. He's thrown a curveball and a slider, so he kind of changes the break. And he's thrown strikes with everything that he has, which as a hitter makes it tough because you have to honor anything that a pitcher can throw for a strike. Good changeup.
And he's got enough fastball to make that changeup work. His fastball is 91.
Just a little movement at the end, but the thing that makes it, you see it says circle change. The thing that makes it is his good arm speed, just like his fastball. So you get just that little side spin where it'll give you a little sink on it.
Popped up. Rivera will put it away for the final out. But the Yankees tie the score, 1 run on 1 hit, 1 left. Yogi's watching a 1-1 game as we go to the 4th. Thank you, Bob. We'll hear from Bob and Kim a little bit later on. Acela Express, the scoreboard 1-1 as we go to the top of the 5th inning, and JP Arancibia against Bartolo Colon. Colon career 9-3, 3.60 against Toronto. Arancibia struck out looking in the 2nd. Well, since 2009, Turkey Hill has been the official ice cream of the Yankees, and they have a new ice cream. Lady Liberty Premium Mint Ice Cream with chocolate cake crunchies and crunchy chocolate cookie swirl. Right there.
I'll try it.
As Arancibia again down looking. And there are Yankee-inspired flavors as well. Bronx Bombers Sundae, premium chocolate ice cream with chocolate cookie swirl and chocolate-covered crunchies, and Pinstripe Brownie Blast. That's right here. No, that's the other one. Premium vanilla ice cream with brownie batter swirl and brownie pieces.
No, that's the other one over there.
That's this one.
No. The one
You
that's
have
got the
two.
most missing.
Well, you have 2. That one's grounded foul.
Just tasting right now. It's not.
Oh, it's a tasting menu.
Yeah, it's.
How's the mint? You like
Mint's
it?
really good.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan. I'm just waiting for the ice cream weather to show up with it, you know? So that's what I'll go through both of them. I don't like putting your porch furniture out too early and, you know, it's still cold out. You know?
Where do you put your porch furniture when it's not out?
What do you want me to put on the roof? I put it out on the porch.
No, but when it's too cold.
Well, it's
in the garage?
Neville's got, of course, she's got official covers for it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Probably high price covers, too. Grounded foul. Neville in town with you? No. That is a first.
I think so.
Wow. Well, Bob and Mary will take care of you.
Frank and Mary.
Frank
Come
and
on. Frank's connected now. Don't be calling him Bob. You're dropping the Bob on Frankie.
The 0-2. Outside. So we thank the people of Turkey Hill for making these ice creams available to us, and we'll enjoy them as the game goes on. Almost jumped up and hit him in the face.
It's a mark of a good two-seam sinking fastball. When that ball starts getting, just beat it down, shoots it. You know, you just cannot elevate the ball. And Canarcio, we talked about power hitters, and you know his shoulder. You see that front shoulder, and if you look at that column, and you talk about a bad streak to start off the season, and you're in late May, no home runs. That gets in your mind, and you hope it's a bad dream. You keep waking up the next morning and it's still 0.
Would you rather be hitting 350 with no home runs or 310 with 10 home runs?
Oh, 310 with 10 home runs.
Really?
Oh, you feel like, you know, you're doing everything you're supposed to do. When you just have a 0 there, I mean, it's not right.
The 2-2. 3-2.
Slumps are weird things. I mean, it's just certain things you're used to doing. And you ever have like a writing slump, Michael, back in the day? You just have a bad week where every one of your articles is bad?
It's called a career.
Yeah. I mean, do you just like you come out of it, or do you just stay in it for a...
Oh, people get writer's block, stuff like that.
Yeah.
You get into a flow, yeah. And then you start seeing the paper bigger. And Carnacio swings and misses. Colon again putting together a nice outing.
I tell you what, and again, back to the scouting report, he's not fooling people. I mean, he is going after people. Started in the mid-90s, got a good two-seamer. Touched up by Bautista on a two-seam fastball, but other than that, he's been ahead of hitters.
23 pitches in the first inning, his high mark. 70 overall. Colon struck out 4 straight Blue Jays. Rajay Davis takes a strike. Popped up. Russell Martin will put it away. 7 in a row for Bartolo Colon. We're halfway through. It's 1-1. Big headlines today, Paul O'Neill. On my radio show on ESPN New York 1050, Fred Wilpon quotes in his story about him in the New Yorker about key Mets, about Jose Reyes, thinks he's going to get Crawford money. He's had everything wrong with him. He won't get it. About David Wright, really good kid, a very good player, not a superstar. About Carlos Beltran, we had some, can't say the word on TV, person being Fred, who paid him all that money. I'm just paraphrasing. Based on one series, that series with the Astros, he's 65 to 75% of what he was. And boy, did that make news in New York today. And it lit up the phones on radio around the city. The thing I don't understand when you look at stuff like that, I always try to find out what's the end game. What was Fred Wilpon trying to accomplish there? Is he really helping the value of the players that he's training them? Is he making them play better? I don't know.
It just looks like frustration to me. You just leave Yankee Stadium losing 2 out of 3, or you know you've got a team that with a high payroll that's not winning. It doesn't look like it's able to win. It just looks like kind of a mess, to tell you the truth.
Yeah, kind of shocking for Wilpon to do that. And this was actually, the interview took place sometime in April when they were playing the Astros at Citi Field, and I think the team was off to a 5-13 start. So that's some of the frustration you were talking about. You know, David Wright is pretty much the face of the franchise. And to say he's not a superstar, I don't know how that makes David Wright feel. One away. Could that motivate a player, or could it tick him off?
I think it could tick him off to the point where, you know, you're almost taking your at-bats and your games trying to prove somebody wrong. But motivation in a good way, I don't think so. No.
Well, we'll see where that leads as we move forward. One away, here's Brett Gardner. Gardner doubled in the 3rd inning into the gap in right center. It was cut off by Rajay Davis. But Gardner runs hard out of the box and was actually at second standing. Didn't even have to slide on a ball that was cut off before it got to the warning track.
You know, you look at quotes like that and you think, you know, they're Major League Baseball. It's not like you take up Major League Baseball as a hobby. I mean, it's something you've worked on your whole life. You've dreamt of, and you're finally here. Sure, anytime, whether it's the press, the general manager, other players say something about you, you do store it because it bothers you. Because, you know, you feel like you've worked to become what you should be, and that's a Major League player. Last thing you want to do is fill your mind with things I can't do. I haven't lived up to this. And it's, you know, it gets in the way of just going out and playing the game.
Well, it does tell Met fans one thing. Fred Wilpon has no intention of signing Jose Reyes because Reyes has said he wants to be paid Carl Crawford money, and that's 142 over 7 years. So Wilpon said he's not worth that. Grounded off the glove of Encarnacion into left field. Base hit for Gardner.
You talked about Brett Gardner, and over his last, you know, 100 at bats or so, has really swung the bat well, and a big part of it is he's staying in there, driving the ball to left field, even if, you know, tough play there for Encarnacion, kind of an in-between hop, but Brett Gardner's speed, if he gets the ball in the hole, he's going to have a lot of success. That's a tough air right there.
That is,
an
that's an E5. That is tough. Jordan Spreckman, the official scorer today. Now, I don't remember this about you, Paul. You'd hit a ball like that, you thought was a hit. You see E5 go up on the board. Were you the type of guy standing at first to look up to the press box?
There's not too many players that, I mean, you don't look up, but you might look at the box score the next day and say, you know, I got some hits and you're 0 for 5. Oh, that was an error. You know, you're kidding me?
Oh, so you didn't know it during a game?
A lot of times you don't. I mean, in the old stadium, you know, everything wasn't so bright and you didn't have a category for everything out there. But, you know, right there, that doesn't appeal to the hitter's eye. It just put the ball in play pretty hard for a tough play.
There are some players, I don't remember that many on the Yankees being this way, that if there was an official scorer that won against them, they'd have somebody call up from the dugout because there's a phone. The official scorer has a phone there, and the argument is made on that player's behalf.
You know what used to frustrate you as a player is you would go into other cities, and it was like if the guy put the ball in play, it was a base hit, and then you would come home and you wouldn't get the same thing. That, I think, caused more problem with players than, you know, an error here or there.
I couldn't agree with you more, Paul. I think around baseball in smaller towns, there's so much home cooking. In New York, I think it's down the middle. I think it's fair and objective. But if you go to a smaller city, it's going to be always on the home team side.
You know, looking back, and I don't want to take anything against John Oliver. He's a great hitter, and he had an unbelievable year in Toronto. But that comes to my mind. I remember seeing him, if he put the ball in play, ground ball, anything, it was a hit if he got on first base. And it just, you know, it would frustrate you as a player because you didn't feel like you were on a level playing field with the other teams.
I've always proposed, and you know, some of the guys that do the official scoring here are friends of mine, that I think the fairest thing to do would be have an umpire be the official scorer. I mean, they're supposedly totally objective. They're on the field. Hit or an error, they make a call.
A little arbitrator up there?
Yeah, why not? Or have a fifth umpire. That could also be the replay guy.
Good changeup. I tell you what, I mean, we just got finished talking. He changes speeds, but he throws strikes with every one of his pitches. And so far, I've counted about 5 different pitches that he can throw for strikes. So as a hitter, you don't sit on one pitch. You don't sit on one location. And all of a sudden, you're thinking about a big area of strike zone to cover. See the different philosophy in base stealing. You know, we talked about Rajah Davis earlier in the game. He takes a very short lead in here and kind of walks out, tries to get a walking lead into a stolen base, where Brett Gardner will just jump out here immediately, kind of get in a runner's pose and just cross over as quick as he can when he picks up.
6 of 12 this year in attempts for Brett Gardner. There he goes. Dickerson strikes out.
The throw is not handled by Escobar. A stolen base for Gardner. And Dickerson goes down on strikes.
A decent jump, but a great throw. And if it was picked, he was out. But Gardner get in, you know, as a shortstop, Escobar has to get out of the way of the runner, pick the ball, and to make a tag. Kind of a tough play. Oh, that should have been an out. That's a great throw. I thought it short hopped him. It actually didn't.
He went in hard with that hand and was down on the ground for a while. And Joe Girardi and the trainer Steve Donahue came out. You can see he's cut, but he waved him away. He said, I don't need you out here.
You know, that doesn't look like much, but you know what happened there is you pulled your nail. You've caught it into the base, and you've pulled that nail away. And I'll tell you what, tomorrow that's going to be sore.
He also got spiked. It looks like he got underneath the spike.
Yeah, sometimes that spike can actually go through your fingernail.
So Gardner's on second for Jeter. I always say this about Freddie Garcia, Paul. Doesn't Villanueva remind you of a crafty left-hander, except that he's right-handed?
Yeah, he really impressed me tonight because of his ability to throw them all for strikes on both sides of the plate, and he has changed his breaking ball. He doesn't throw just one breaking ball.
This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the New York Yankees and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the New York Yankees.
You did to Jody today.
What was that? She reads it to me.
A little disclaimer
before I go to sleep. That one is driven deep to left field. Going back, Patterson. He's on the track. He's at the wall, and he'll make the play for the final out of the inning. Jeter gave it a ride, but too much ballpark out there. No runs, no hits, one error, and one man left. We played 5 innings of play here at the stadium. It's a 1-1 game by that much. With giving the Yankees a 3-1 lead, he hit this ball right into your living room, but it didn't quite make it to the couch.
Michael, you got me too. Off the bat, I thought this ball was out. More frustrating as a hitter to hit the ball to the wall. Just think, if I got just a little bit more of it.
Off the bat, it seemed like it was gone, didn't it?
To me too. Cool night, ball not jumping.
Yankee dugout thought it was out, and then disappointed when it wasn't. Rare to see Derek turn on it like that, and when he does, he usually does get it out. But just didn't pull it enough. There's a strike to Corey Patterson, who made that play. Corey's 0 for 2, struck out and fouled out to Martin. 75 pitches for Cologne as we move into the 6th inning. I'm telling you, every time out, it seems like it gives them a quality start. And quality start doesn't quite do it justice, because the baseball definition of a quality start is 3 runs in 6 innings. And he pitches better than that. Last time out, no runs in 8 innings. He threw 87 pitches, walked 1 and struck out 7. And he's walked 1 tonight.
You see the movement on that. And the big thing about Cologne is not just the velocity. He's not hitting the middle of the plate. I mean, he's in and out, and he's used his slider the last couple innings a little bit more. To have that much velocity, you know, coming back from what he's come back from, and still have the control. That's why he's been so successful. Running fastball off the plate, but 95. It's very, I mean, that happens so quick for the hitter. You have to make up your decision so quick. It's tough.
And the 3-2. Line to right field. Dickerson. It's over his head on the plate up against the wall. Patterson's going for 2. And he will make it. So Colon had not walked a leadoff batter in an inning all year, and he was intent on not doing it there.
This ball was hit so hard. Dickerson kind of took a straight across angle, and the ball absolutely blew over his head. The only way to catch this ball is immediately know how hard it's hit and take off straight back to the wall. This wasn't much of a decision.
Wow, not at all. This Blue Jay lineup, Paul, at this point in time is not good enough to really provide the proper protection of a guy that's this hot, because there's nobody that you could put behind him that you'd rather pitch to than him.
Right.
No, you'd rather pitch to him than that guy. That person doesn't really exist, and they're not making a tough call batting the shortstop behind him. So a home run and 2 walks for Bautista.
This surprised me, Michael. Go ahead.
That's the 5th intentional walk of the year for Bautista. He had 2 all of last year.
Which is surprising. I mean, last year he was a free swinger. There was a way to get him out. This year he's hitting over 350. So, you know, 5th intentional base on balls with this lineup, you know, I would guess it'd be more at this point.
Miguel Cabrera of the Tigers has 10 to lead the majors, 10 intentional walks. Escobar lays down a bunt. A-Rod will make the play at first. The sacrifice successful, 5-4.
You said that it was very weird to see a shortstop batting 4th, especially behind Bautista, but you don't see that 4-hole bunting very often either, huh?
Not really. Now let's see if they can take advantage. You've got Juan Rivera, who has singled and lined out sharply to Jeter. One game. Blue Jays with 5 hits. The Yankees with just 2 against Villanueva. Now you've got Aaron Hill on deck, who's 0 for 2, and I think they're going to talk this over with Colon. Do you want to walk Juan Rivera to set up the force and the double play? What would you do here, Paul? Would you walk Rivera?
Well, I think that Rivera's specialty is against left-handed pitchers. So, you know, I think that you go after him. You try to make him go out of the zone. And if you get behind him, obviously, you walk him.
Colon does that all the time, like every kid in Little League who's bored. Kind of just tosses the ball up and plays catch with himself as everybody's moving back to their positions. And they are going to intentionally walk Rivera, again, who has hit the ball hard twice. So that'll set up the double play. And certainly issues the challenge to Aaron Hill.
And we talked about, I mean, why Rivera's even in the lineup, and it's Adam Lynn, you know, a left-handed hitter that they're really missing right now. Went out of the lineup, hitting over 300, 313, had 7 home runs, was really starting to swing the bat well. Talking to some of the Blue Jays guys, he's hitting balls off the tee again, so I don't know how close he is to getting back in the lineup, but they miss a left-handed power hitter behind Bautista right now.
All right, here's Aaron Hill. He flied out to center and struck out. Big spot in this game. Corey Patterson, great speed, is at third. Bautista at second. And Juan Rivera over at first. Yankees a double play depth straight away in the outfield. Dickerson and Granderson, good arms in the outfield. Gardner gets rid of the ball quickly in left. Ground ball through for a base hit. Patterson scores. Bautista's going to hold up at third. So it's an RBI single for Hill, who answers the challenge, and the Blue Jays now lead 2-1.
You know, the first thing kids ask you about the outfield, about throwing guys out, is do you have to have a great arm? Brett Gardner has a good arm. But that play right there, he didn't even make a throw. It's how quick you get to the ball and get into the throwing position. That's what you see. I mean, he's coming up. He's even bobbled it, but the third base coach, Butterfield, had already held up Bautista just because he got to the ball that quick. Didn't even have to make a good throw.
Here's Eric Thames. Count 1-0.
You see Butterfield will come down the line this way, and he'll have to make that call right there immediately. See how quick Gardner didn't even see the throw, but he has to make that decision. I'll get on Butter tomorrow, Mike. Tell him he wanted a close play at the plate. He blew it, right?
He did. Would have been nice.
You enjoy calling those, right?
Sure. Bang, bang play. Bases loaded, 1 out. Blue Jays up 2-1. No place to put Thames. Count 3-0. And he walked him. He forces in a run.
You see Colon dropping down a little bit. That ball's running away. Can't keep it on the outside corner. He's kind of lost that four-seam fastball that he was throwing over the top. When you're throwing that hard, you're getting that much movement. It's hard to control. You see that ball. I mean, that ball started here, ended all the way up off the outside corner. So you start dropping that arm a little bit, and you're throwing that hard. Hard to control.
So now it's 3-1 Blue Jays. And that's going to bring up J.P. Arancibia. Only now is somebody getting up in the Yankee bullpen. Kind of happened quickly. And that's Pendleton warming. That one is ripped into the gap. In right center, it's a base hit. It's going to go to the wall. Rivera scores. Hill scores. Here comes Thames. He'll score. It's a bases clearing double for Arancibia, and the Blue Jays lead 6-1.
Well, Michael, you said it happened quickly, and it did. And, you know, it's just all of a sudden a big 2-run or 3-run double. And you see that ball right there. That's not a bad pitch. It got up a little bit, but he found the outside corner. And Arancibia just drove it out into right center field. Problem with, you know, when you load the bases up, people, you know, a hitter makes a good swing. You know, it's just not a base hit. It'll cost you 3 runs.
The 0-1. 6 runs. That's the most Colon has allowed this season. Came into the game with a 3.16 ERA. So a very rare clunker for Colon.
It's really weird how it happened, because the first 5 innings he was in total control. Gave up a home run early to Bautista, and then had good control with his fastball. Was starting to use his slider a little bit more. All of a sudden this inning he kind of lost control of that 2-seamer. Was running off the plate away and set up a big inning.
Fouled off the foot of Encarnacion.
See that last pitch, Michael. I mean, he's almost 3/4 now. Where early in the game, he was really kind of humping up and coming over the top with that 4-seamer.
That's fatigue, right?
let me call Al Leiter and David Cohn, but I would assume, I mean, his arm angle has definitely changed. It's over the top there. You see, this is the last pitch where he kind of just pauses and comes right over the top. You see some of those two-seamers earlier in the inning where he was out almost three-quarter.
.61 strikes in 99 pitches. Strike 3. Encarnacion down looking. 8th strikeout for Colon.
Got him with the slider, and this ball right here, if you look where it ended up, it's definitely low, but from the side view, probably was close to the knee. Hitters never like it, Michael, I'll tell you that.
While the Blue Jays bat around, Rajai Davis, the 9th batter, comes to the plate, and he fouls that one off. This is going to be the 30th pitch of the inning. Nubbed up the first baseline, and Colon tags Davis on the way by, and that's going to do it. But the Blue Jays score 5 runs on 3 hits, no errors, and 1 man left on base. We go to the bottom of the 6th. Next poll, once again, the question: which sport will produce the next Triple Crown winner? You've been voting at 58772 with your text, and here's what you came up with. Very close. 52% think it's going to be baseball, 48% horse racing. You know what? I would say baseball.
Really?
I mean, horse racing has changed so much. I don't know if you can.
You know a lot about horse racing?
I try. I don't know that. I don't know as much as I would like, but I love it. I love it. Well, John Farrell makes the call to the bullpen. Brought to you by AT&T. So Carlos Villanueva has a chance to get a win if the bullpen does a job. And the first one they call on is Jason Frazier. And look at the numbers for Jason: 20 strikeouts in 18 2/3, 19 runners in 18 2/3. New third baseman for the Blue Jays is John McDonald, taking over for Encarnacion. Granderson. There's a strike. And there's John McDonald from Connecticut. Count 1. Granderson to Sharon A-Rod here in the bottom of the 6th. So the Yankees have some ground to make up. Along with Paul O'Neill and Kimberly Jones, I'm Michael Kay. We thank you for joining us on this Monday evening. 6-1. Blue Jays over the Yankees. Thanks for watching. Yes.
Keep looking over to my shoulder for the third guy. Where's the third guy tonight? It's just you and I.
Just the two of us.
Yeah?
Yep. They don't want to mess this chemistry up.
Wow. I'm wondering, are they worried about you or worried about me?
He's a little both. We've got Kim here. She can always step in.
I was going to say she might have to do another inning down there or something.
The 2-2. Now Frazier has a 5.36 lifetime ERA against the Yankees over 45 games. So they have that going for them. Hector Noesi got a win in his first big league appearance, 4 relief innings against the Orioles. The 2-2. 3-2. Granderson struck out and he scored the Yankees' only run. He walked in the fourth, came around to score on a sac fly by Cano. Teixeira on deck. Alex follows him. And Granderson works a walk. That's the last thing you want to do when you put 5 runs on the board in the previous inning. Well, there's a shot of the Mohegan Sun Sports Bar. Situated in center field, the Mohegan Sun Sports Bar is a great place to gather and enjoy the game. You ever been to the Mohegan Sun?
The sports bar or the original, the real
place? It's great. Great place. Great venue, great place to see concerts. Here's Mark Teixeira. And the pitch outside.
I've seen you at a couple concerts. You're a big concert guy.
Big.
Huh?
I'm an event guy.
Is that it?
You know, something happened, I like to be there.
Right in the middle of it.
Hopefully. Foul back. They have to shift on again for Teixeira. Always a danger that some kind of ground ball, if it's a slow roller, that you can only get the out of first. Granderson could just pop up and run the third. Now it's the catcher's job to run over there and cover. Popped up. Going to be a tough play. Patterson on the run, and he makes the play. He covered a lot of real estate to haul that in for the first out.
I'll tell you, when that ball went up in the air, there was only one guy who was going to catch it, because Encarnacion was all the way over in the shortstop position. We talked about speed. Well, the Blue Jays have some speed in the outfield. Good play out there by Patterson.
That's going to bring up Alex Rodriguez. He has flied out to center and struck out. There's a base hit up the middle. Granderson is going to go to third. First base hit of the night for Rodriguez, and the Yankees have a threat.
Well, these are the positions, Michael, that the Yankees are going to have to get better at. I mean, you're going to have these, the singles turn into run-producing singles and men in scoring position. These are the at-bats that, if you looked at one thing that you could complain about from the New York Yankees, it would be their hitting with runners in scoring position to this point in the year. I mean, it can change. It could change right now. It could change tomorrow. But to be a good team and win with good pitching and defense, you got to drive in those runs when they're out in scoring position.
Here's Cano. He's driven in the Yankees' only run with a sac fly in the fourth inning. So he's 0 for 1, grounded to first, and then that fly ball to center to drive in a run. One and 0. Yankees hitless in 4 at bats with runners in scoring position. They do have that sac fly. Now Cano 6 of 8 this year, getting the run in from third with less than 2 outs. Blue Jays 2 for 5 with runners in scoring position. Slice foul. Tampa Bay and Detroit 1-1, bottom of the 5th. Boston leads Cleveland 1-0, top of the 4th. Those two teams and the Yankees bunched up atop the American League East. Right here, the Yankees are trailing 6-1, bottom of the 6th.
As a Yankee fan, Michael, who scares you more, the Boston Red Sox or the Rays?
Red Sox.
Red Sox?
I mean, I think the Rays are very good, though.
They're pitching.
Their starting pitching is very good. Their bullpen, I think, is the big question mark. But the Red Sox and the Yankees, I think, are the two best teams in the American League. Cano, a .250 hitter with runners in scoring position. Close pitch.
It had to be low because they got a lot of the plate. That's that borderline pitch. As a pitcher, you want it. As a hitter, you're glad they didn't call it. You say it's down. What do you think, Michael?
I've seen lower pitches called strikes.
Yeah, I saw one on Posada yesterday was lower than that.
3-1. This could be a double play. Oh, he booted it. Everybody's safe and a run scores. Escobar booted the ball in his haste to start a 6-4-3 double play. And John Farrell is going to argue with second base umpire Wally Bell.
You couldn't ask for anything more from your pitcher. You get your ground ball double play. Absolutely lost it in the exchange. We're going to have to see the side angle here. He was out.
He was out. See it from another angle. Yep, he was out from that angle too. So it's a fielder's choice, E6 with an RBI for Cano. And Frazier can't believe it. So can the Yankees take advantage of a break? So here's Russell Martin. He is 0 for 2. Flied out to left and then fouled out to the first baseman, Rivera. Count 1-0. Opponents are just 2 for 25 this year against Frazier with runners in scoring position. He's got the count 1-1 on Russell Martin.
It's a tough pitch right there. Kind of a slider right at his front hip. Brought it over the inside corner.
Blue Jays carry 8 relievers, 6 righties, and 2 lefties. Fastball, count 2-1. Little pacing there by John Farrell. And they're going to go to bullpen forward. The 2-1. Fly ball left field. Off the end of the bat, Patterson will put it away for the second out.
He got a pitch that he was either going to drive out or pop up. He said, ball running in on him. Knew immediately. Didn't get it. It's funny because as a hitter, just the feel of the ball off the bat, you know immediately if that ball's going anywhere. Problem with baseball, Michael, you don't get a second chance in that position.
Not a lot of second chances in life.
Not enough foul balls, you know.
Here's Posada. He is 0 for 2. Posada 3 for 14 with 2 home runs lifetime against Jason Frazier.
Good changeup. You know, it's funny, Jorge, you've talked about his struggles a little bit the first couple times up. It seems like he was trying to see some pitches, took some fastballs down the middle. Now he goes up in a swinging mode. Changeup right on the outside corner. It's just, you've really got to fight it mentally because you just think that everything is against you. I think that every good pitch the pitcher has is he's thrown it to you. Jorge's done this for too long to not realize that he could snap out of this and get some big hits for this team.
Sebia is certainly taking his time, and Frazier's not shaking off, but just staying there until he sees a sign he likes. Down 1-1. Big part of the game, so we want to settle things and come to agreement on what he's going to throw. Ground ball to second base. Hill makes the play, and that'll do it. So the Yankees get the run on the error. 1 hit and 2 men left. We go to the 7th, 6-2 Blue Jays. Brought to you in part by Jaguar. See how Jaguar outperforms the competition at JaguarPerforms.com. By the New York Lottery. When you scratch Lottery's instant games, good things happen in an instant. So be ready. And by Grey Goose, the world's best tasting vodka. New pitcher for the Yankees as Bartolo Colon has his roughest outing of the year. They'll turn it over to Hector Noesi. Noesi, his major league debut in Baltimore in the Yankees' 15-inning win that they had there. And he put up 4 scoreless innings. Walked 4, gave up 4 hits, and struck out 4. And kept wiggling out of jams. Here's Corey Patterson. Pitches high. Patterson started that 5-run 6th inning with a double. The Cadillac scoreboard shows the Blue Jays up 6-2. High fly ball center field. Granderson for the first out.
You know, if you look at Colon's start, though, and you go back over what happened, it's not like, oh, you send up a red flag because, oh, he didn't have his stuff tonight. Is this the way it's going to be? He had great stuff. I mean, for 5 innings, he was as good as he's been all year, and all of a sudden he had that weird 6th inning where he lost control of his fastball on the outside part of the plate. One big hit, that big 3-run double.
There's Bautista. He takes a strike. Bautista got it started with a home run in the 1st inning, then walked in the 3rd, intentionally walked in the 6th. The 2 intentional walks that the Yankees issued in the 6th inning came back to bite them. With a runner at second, nobody out, they walked Bautista, which I guess was the right thing to do. Then Escobar sacked them over. And then they intentionally walked Rivera to load the bases for the double play. And Aaron Hill made him pay with an RBI to left field. Then Eric Thames, a bases loaded walk to force in a run. And then with the bases loaded, J.P. Arancibia drove them all home with a double. Bautista fouls it back. And in the 1st inning, this is how Bautista welcomed himself to this series.
I talked about a little bit in the pregame that, I mean, it's like some hitters pick up the baseball a little bit quicker, and you'll see that, I mean, even on 2-strike swings, you see that. I mean, that's a healthy swing. He's picking up the ball, he's reading it, and he's giving himself a chance to drive the ball even with 2 strikes. He's just not trying to put the ball in play. like a lot of hitters will with 2 strikes. I mean, you wouldn't know if this is his first swing of the at-bat or a 2-strike swing. That's just a good full-out swing. He's recognizing the pitches. That ball's up in the zone, but I tell you what, it just looks like every one of his swings, he's right on the pitch.
Here's Yunel Escobar. And there's a strike from Noesi, throwing 93 miles an hour.
He's talking about that one slider that he saw up in the zone in the middle of the count that he fouled off. He kind of jumps at the fastball, but the slider, I always talk about, you know, as a hitter, when you make an out, you go back to the dugout and you think of pitches that you fouled off that you should have done something with, and there was a slider early in the count that he's probably talking about.
Granderson with the slide and the catch. Take a hit away from Escobar. So Noesi works a 1-2-3 7th inning. At the end of 6 1/2, it's time for the 7th inning stretch. Yankees are trailing this one 6-2, but we'll stay right here and honor America in the Bronx.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, please rise and offer a moment of silent prayer as we remember the servicemen and women who are serving our country at home and around the globe. Thank you. Now join in Kate Smith's rendition of God Bless America.
It's 6-2, the Blue Jays over the Yankees. Now let's look ahead to tomorrow. Tomorrow's starting pitchers brought to you by Verizon Fios. Get the ultimate in entertainment on the Ultimate Network. Fios a network ahead. Ricky Romero goes for the Blue Jays, 4-4, good ERA. CC Sabathia, 4-3, also a good ERA. Now our coverage will begin at 6:30 p.m. on the Yes Network, and we start the game on My 9 right at 7:07, and that will be, as I mentioned, on My 9. John Roush is going to come on to pitch the 7th inning, and he's going to face Gardner, Dickerson, and Jeter. The big right-hander deals. Pitch is high. Those are the numbers. 5 saves for Roush.
Got a bush on his neck. No?
It's certainly not subtle. Down 2-1. Roush has had 6 career appearances against the Yankees. 6 innings, 5 hits, 1 run, 3 walks, 6 strikeouts. And that's good for a 1.50 ERA.
I'll tell you what, I was talking to him a little bit on the field. He came over and I was talking to Brian Butterfield. He's huge. I mean, you look up at him, he's like a 6'7", 6'8". How tall is he?
I think he's 6'10".
Oh, I did say, I was
check that out.
He's huge.
6'10" he is. He's packing 290. But 6'10", 290, that's certainly not heavy.
No, he's just big.
Yeah.
And I tell you what, as a hitter, the release point of a guy that tall is so much different than everybody else.
I wonder, the fact that he's 6'10", 290, and doesn't throw extraordinarily hard, if that throws you off as well.
No, you expect him. I mean, you just look out there as a hitter and you're like, wow, this guy's going to bring it. And then you're right. You know, he's in the range of everybody else, but it is a little more difficult because of the angle that they create being that tall.
Swing and a miss. And Gardner down on strikes.
This is a changeup, and you see how high that ball comes out. Off-speed pitch against Brett Gardner. See that release? It's a breaking ball. It's not a changeup.
Chris Dickerson started in right today. Nick Swisher struggled from the left side. Joe Girardi just wants to get him straightened out from that side. He sat him down against the last 2 righties the Yankees faced as starters, but he's going to be in tomorrow's game.
An old rule of thumb, and I remember Joe Girardi and coached under Joe Torre and Don Zimmer, and the rule of thumb was always 2 days was much better than just giving a guy a day off if you're really trying to clear somebody's head. Either a day off right before a team day off, so you got 2 consecutive days, or just back-to-back games.
Those eyes get wide.
See him coming over the top, and you see that's going to be a breaking ball. Wow.
Swing and a miss. All right, so we're talking about tall pitchers. Randy Johnson. Did you ever get a hit off him?
No.
Did you face him a lot?
Not a lot, but I faced him.
Not a lot, though.
0 for 5, 0 for 8.
0 for 5, yeah.
Yeah. I think Buck Showalter was the manager at that time. I didn't think he liked my chances. He actually called us in the locker room, or in his office one day. And I know it was Deion James, myself, and another lefty. And somebody was going to have to play because I think Randy Velarde or somebody couldn't go. And we actually drew straws. Yeah. We
For
drew
Randy
straws.
Johnson start.
And Deion James, I don't know if it was intentional or not. He got the short straw.
How do you do? Do you remember?
It's over.
Jeter hits one-on-one hop to Escobar. And that will do it. As Roush works a 1-2-3 7th inning. We're going to go to the 8th. It's 6-2 Toronto. Well, it's time for the game summary brought to you by your local Nissan dealer. 6-7-2 leading 2-3-0. Bautista a home run. His 19th to lead the majors. Aaron Sebia, that big hit in the 6th inning. A bases loaded double to drive in 3. Bartolo Colon struggled today. He had good stuff, but faltered in that 6th inning. 6 innings, 7 hits, 6 runs, 4 walks, and 8 strikeouts. Well, we go to the 8th inning. Hector Noesu pitched a 1-2-3 7th. Now 5 scoreless innings in the big leagues for Hector. He'll face Rivera, Hill, and Thames. Breaking ball, no bite. 1-0. The Hyundai scoreboard shows a 6-2 Toronto lead. First game of a 3-game set. Count 1-1. High fly ball left center. Grandison will make the play. Tonight after the postgame catch, WB Mason presents the Joe Girardi Show as the skipper talks southpaws. Find out who was the toughest lefty he faced and the best lefty he ever caught. And on Sunday, it's an all-new episode as Joe looks back on the epic 1996 season with David Cohn. It's the Joe Girardi Show, and it's only on Yes. Hammered down the left field line, but foul.
Best lefty he ever faced. I'm going to say Randy Johnson. You know, best lefty he ever caught.
Well, the best, I believe he did not have much success against Randy. He said that he said he wasn't scared. He just had no chance.
Let's see. Yeah.
But there was a lefty, a really good lefty that he did well against. I'm trying to remember what he said. I think he had decent numbers against Glavine.
I was going to say maybe it was Glavine or Avery, because two good lefties over with the Atlanta Braves for many years.
I think he was 3 for 11 against Leiter. What's amazing how you guys have a memory about this stuff. Like the lefty that he owned, I asked him how'd you, he said, I owned him. I just knew right away.
Yeah, my wife thinks I'm crazy. You can remember, it's really weird. You can remember certain pitches that happened 10, 15 years ago, but you can't, she says I can't remember to put the milk away when she asked me to.
What was the pitcher that you felt the most comfortable against, that you had the most success?
It's not always about comfort. I mean, Jose Mesa, I had great success about, but I wasn't comfortable hitting off him. I thought he had great stuff, but for some reason, I just, I got a lot of hits off of him.
Line down the left field line. It's going to be a base hit. It's going to bounce into the seats for a double. Aaron Hill with a double.
Aaron Hill's had quite a night. Got a big RBI single with bases loaded. They kept that going. You see this ball kind of stays out over the plate. Had spin back in, but it just didn't have enough bite on it to get back in on side.
Here's Eric Thames. You were 9 for 11 against Jose Mesa.
Yeah.
8-18.
Joe Tabor.
Joe Tabor.
Or Spanish speaking American. What was his nickname? Joe Tabor.
Mesa is Tabor. Grounded to second. Cano. For the second out as Hill moves to third.
If I'm John Farrell, I look at these games as being very important, because you're trying to prove to these guys that they can play in the American League East. And every time you come out and you beat the Yankees, or you put yourself in a position to beat the Yankees, especially on the road, you're telling this team that we're not far from becoming, a threat in this division. So I think that every time you match up as the Blue Jays, especially with young pitchers going, and you're playing Boston, you're playing the Yankees, you just get closer and closer before you feel that you're on the same field playing wise as these better teams.
2-3 against the Yankees in 5 games so far this year. Trying to even up, splitting 6.
Back at, and I was talking to Brian Butterfield about it earlier. You look back at 93, 94, when the Blue Jays used to walk in here, world champions, and Cito Gaston and the boys. I mean, we just looked across the field, and they were a better team than we were. But progressively, we got, year by year, you got better. You started beating them, and before you know it, you become, the favored team in the East. Remember those years, don't you? The Blue Jays?
Blue Jays and the A's.
Yeah.
I don't know if you were here when the A's used to just destroy the Yankees.
We beat the A's in '90 with Cincinnati, but just from there was no interleague back then. Just from a distance, they were the team that just ran away with the division every year. We went into the World Series thinking, how can these guys be beat? But all of a sudden, you win Game 1. And just like I'm saying here tonight, you think, these guys are no better than anybody else.
2-2. There's a base hit. That's going to be the first run that Noesi has allowed in the big leagues, and it gives the Blue Jays a 7-2 lead here on this Monday night. 4th RBI for Aaron Sebia.
These are the nights you look at Arecibo, what kind of night he had, a 3-run double and then another RBI. These are the nights where you get on the bus and you go home and you're sitting in the hotel and you're just thinking, how great it is to be in the major leagues. You just feel so much adrenaline, so pumped up after having good games. I don't care if you've been here a day or 10 years, you still get that feeling after you've had that big game.
talk about dominating. I remember, I think the A's one year against the A's were 13-0. And Dennis Eckersley would rub it in their face and he'd point every time he got it. That one is popped up. Cano is there, and that's going to do it here in the 8th inning. 1 run, 2 hits, 1 left. We go to the bottom of the 8th, 7-2 Jays. In part by J&R Music and Computer World, and by Toyota, the official hybrid of the New York Yankees. Yankees running out of time. We go to the bottom of the 8th inning. John Roush still in there. It'll be Granderson, Teixeira, and A-Rod here in the 8th inning. The Yankees trying to make up a 5-run deficit. Granderson has walked twice and scored the Yankees' only runs. Hyundai scoreboard 7-2. There's a strike.
Talked about Granderson and some of the things he's thought about lately. You know, I had so many hits, but I had so many strikeouts. I don't feel as good as I should. These are the at-bats when you're down late in the game that you really got to bear down and try to find, because there's always tomorrow. You have a great at-bat before you go home. You go in tomorrow thinking that you're in a good streak. Lead off this inning and get a couple runs. Next thing you know, you're right back into the game.
Line drive, foul. In the dirt, 2-2. Villanueva started, gave them 5 strong innings, allowed just 1 run. Then Jason Frazier allowed a run in the 6th. And John Roush pitched the 1-2-3-7, still in there in the 8th. You check it out. Villanueva's last 63 appearances were in relief before tonight's start. And he pitched more than 2 innings only 4 times over that span. So he did a nice job giving them 5 innings today, and he's in line to pick up the win. 3-2. Foul back. Granderson has settled nicely into that number 2 hole, and that's a good spot to hit in this lineup. Behind Jeter, in front of Teixeira and A-Rod, you're going to get pitches to hit. How about that? Granderson walks 3 times. Well, tonight and throughout the Yankee season on Yes, we're asking you to vote along with us for the Chevy Player of the Game. Text your vote to 58772 or vote online at yesnetwork.com. Tonight's candidates are number 1, Jose Bautista, number 2, JP Arancibia, number 3, Carlos Villanueva, and number 4, Robinson Cano. Vote now. Make your voice heard. Standard text messaging rates apply. Count 1-0. All 3 of Granderson's walks have led off an inning, and in the previous 2 he ended up scoring. Teixeira's 1 for 3 tonight, struck out, singled to right center, and then flied out to the left. A good play, running play by Patterson. They have the shift on again for Teixeira. Now what they've done with the shift, though, is they keep the shortstop Escobar at short.
And they've moved McDonald, who has played on that side of the infield. They moved McDonald from third to the second base side of the bag.
I just got to tell you, Mike, I'm looking at my card here for my Jeep scouting report for the pitcher early in the game, and Ryan helped me out a little bit. I'm not going to lie.
Sure.
I mean, just look how on Ryan is. It's been a while, all right. He hasn't thrown since 09.
Runner goes. The throw knocked down. And Granderson steals second. They weren't even looking at him at first base.
Yeah, every once in a while you just feel like they've forgotten about you. You might as well take the base. Roush, a big pitcher, can be slow to the plate. Back to the scouting report, road dominance. I mean, he only gave up 1 run against, so he's given up 2 runs all year on the road. In the unknown, the Yankees have trouble with guys they don't know a lot about as starting pitchers. On the mark, huh?
I'll tell you what. This is a clear indication that you have to tune in tomorrow for the scouting report.
That's right. Ryan, get your sleep. You owe me a good one tomorrow.
Three-two. Swing and a miss. Got him.
That was an 84-mile-an-hour slider. It looked like a 96-mile-an-hour fastball. I think Teixeira was kind of caught in the middle of it. Very flat slider, kind of underneath it.
Here's Alex Rodriguez, 1 for 3.
Roush's slider and his fastball, I mean, a couple miles an hour difference, but different break on the ball. His fastball sinks a little bit. His slider doesn't have a big break. It's kind of flat.
Ground ball left side. Escobar backhands, fires to first. The base hit for A-Rod, moving to third. Granderson. Escobar made that pretty close.
Yeah, it's good base running by Granderson. I mean, if he takes off on this ball as soon as it's hit, Escobar's got a good shot to just wheel that ball to third, but he waited to see if he was clearly going to make that throw to first base, and he can walk into third base.
Well, that's going to do it for Roush. John Farrell is going to bring in a left-hander to face Cano. Stay right where you are.
1,000 guests 21 years or older will receive an Jorge Posada figurine courtesy of Sports Authority. For tickets, log on to Yankees.com, visit the Yankee Stadium ticket window, Yankees clubhouse shops, or call Ticketmaster at 877-469-9849.
Well done.
Yeah.
Really well done. He's locked into that.
He's locked into something. I haven't figured out what it is yet.
You know, there are certain people that you'd see go, I'm not messing with him. I would not mess with John Roush.
Whether he's got a baseball in his hand or not.
Wherever I ran into him. Luis Perez is going to try to get Robinson Cano. You see Perez's numbers, one of 2 lefties in the bullpen
for the Blue Jays. Yankees have runners on the corners as they try to come back from a 7-2 deficit. And here is Cano. 2 RBIs for Cano. He's driven in both runs. Hot shot, base hit. Now he's driven in all 3 runs. Granderson scores. A-Rod moves to second. RBI single for Cano. It's now 7-3 Blue Jays.
Robbie's had a few opportunities in here. Sometimes against left-handers, you know, your mechanics have to be a little bit better as a left-handed hitter. You stay in there a little longer. You see this pitch on the inside part. Good swing. Drives it right to right field. He posts up on that front leg. Doesn't lean out forward. Got in on him a little bit, but that's a good swing.
So now first and second with 1 out, and here's Russell Martin. Martin is 0 for 3. 2 fly balls to left and a foul out to first. Pitch outside. Crowd of 41,946 here in the Bronx. Low on 0. Popped up. Rivera makes the play for the second out. I think they call interference on Martin, so even if he didn't catch the ball, he would have been out.
A lot of times, it's not intentional. You, as a hitter, you kind of put your head down and you run in the direction. You know you just missed a pitch. Believe me, you're not trying to cause anything other than see your head's down, then you figure out, uh-oh.
Here's Jorge Posada. He is looking for his first hit this year from the right side. He's essentially become a platoon player against lefties. The Yankees will give Jeter or A-Rod a half a day off at DH. He's 0 for 25 against southpaws. Grounded to third. John McDonald would step on the bag, and that's going to do it. Yankees get a run on 2 hits. They leave 2. We go to the 9th. It's 7-3 Blue Jays. Down the big plays from this game and brings you the latest from around the league. Plus, hear Joe Girardi's press conference, and Kim Jones talks to the team in the clubhouse. It's all coming up on the WB Mason postgame, only on Yes. Rajay Davis pops that one up, and making the play is Teixeira. 1 pitch, 1 out. Hey, if you're keeping score at home, Russell Martin's pop-up, there's a clarification. It was not called interference. It was infield fly rule, which I'm wondering why they called, because I didn't think that it was an easy chance. It was a high pop-up that drifted into fair territory, and the umpires, you'll see, they put up their hand, which signals infield fly. You see all 3 umpires in the screen have their finger up, so it was not interference at all. As Corey Patterson grounds to second for the second out here at the top of the 9th. So Noesi has gone 2 2/3 and allowed 1 run. So if he gets 1 more out in his big league career, he would have gone 7 innings and allowed just 1 run. Now he's got a tough customer. He's already retired at once. Jose Bautista. Bautista homered, walked, intentionally walked, and then popped to second.
Let's try to break down why Jose Bautista is such a good hitter.
why it happened so late.
Other than he acted like he was going to throw a ball there, so he was going to take it. From the side, you see everything's kind of coiled up. I mean, he's not a huge guy. It's not the kind of guy that usually hits 50 home runs.
His 41 home run increase from 13 to 54 was the largest increase from one season to the next in Major League history.
The breaking ball there, but he still looks like, I mean, now you've taken a pitch, you've seen everything that the pitcher has, and from the side, see, even with the 2 strikes, you see he's locked his front side in by turning that foot, and that's a swing right there, although he popped it up, that he wasn't trying to just serve it in, to make contact.
An impressive 9th inning for Hector Noesi. Did the Yankees have a rally in their bones? We go to the bottom of the 9th. ...2011 campaign. It all starts tomorrow at 7 with full match analysis on Arsenal 360 right here on Yes.
Soccer fan?
Not my favorite sport. You?
I don't get it. I don't get it.
You got to put that little ball in the net.
Yeah, but you got to do it with your feet. You're more coordinated with your hands. Wouldn't you want to pick it up and throw it?
You made one of the great throws of all time, kicking it right past
Todd Benzinger.
Todd Benzinger, who thought it was a throw.
Yeah. Could have got him at second, he told me. And nothing on the throw.
Here's Frank Francisco as he will try to close this out. Yankees are trailing 7-3. Francisco has picked up 5 saves. 13 strikeouts in 11 1/3 innings. And he's going to face Brett Gardner to start it off. Along with Paul O'Neill and Kimberly Jones. You're watching Yankees baseball here on Yes. We thank you for joining us. Yankees are trailing 7-3, bottom of the 9th inning. Hope you've had a good time with us on this Monday evening.
Probably have a better time if the Yankees threw up a 5 spot right here, wouldn't it?
We'll see if they have it in their bones. Pitch is high. There's a strike to Gardner.
Looking up at the scoreboard, Michael, you see Boston beating Cleveland 2-1. Tampa Bay losing 2-1 to Detroit. A couple tough games going on. And I look at Cleveland. I mean, where did Cleveland come from?
Unbelievable. Everybody's having a good year at the same time, and they're playing well despite the injuries to Hafner. That one's lined in the left field, a base hit, and Sizemore. So Gardner with his 2nd hit of the night. And that starts off the 9th inning in proper fashion. 8 games in May, and Francisco has a 9.0 ERA. Here's Dickerson. Fouled away. Pitch outside, 1-1. Dickerson 0 for 3 tonight with 2 strikeouts. Runner goes. Swing and a miss, no throw. And that's a stolen base for Gardner.
Why wasn't that?
Because it's not a case where it doesn't matter in the game. It actually gives the Yankees an advantage for going to second base.
Defensive difference.
Defensive indifference.
Is that in the Webster's? Can you look that up?
Those two words, but not both of them together. It's really to the discretion of the official scorer. He could have called that defensive indifference if he chose. Chop towards second. Hill gets Dickerson for the first out as Gardner moves to third. Tomorrow, come to Yes before Game 2 against the Blue Jays for the Tri-State Ford pregame. Then after the game on My 9, come back to Yes for Yankees Extra Innings presented by Tri-State Ford. And Wednesday afternoon, we've got full coverage of the midweek matinee starting at 12:30 only on Yes.
We're busy tomorrow.
Yeah.
We're going to Yes, to My 9, back to Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And then a day game the next day. Can you handle that?
I can handle it, but you don't have that second analyst with you, all right?
You got Ryan over here. Ryan knows a lot, too.
Here's Derek Jeter. Jeter is a allowed 0 for 4. He had a hard line drive that was caught by Hill, and then a deep drive to left field that Patterson caught with his back against the wall. But 0 for 4 nonetheless. He remains 25 hits away from 3,000. Count 1-1. Yankees need base runners. They're down by 4.
Here in the middle of June, I got a good chance to see that. It's on a little hot streak, huh?
Yeah, you got 9 games on the West Coast trip. Yeah, you should see it. And you saw his first one.
Mm-hmm.
Single against the Mariners. He stood there at first base next to Tino Martinez.
Let me see. Was Jorge up then?
Jorge was up in 95, I think.
Okay, so he
but
saw that hit.
He went down in 96.
Right. So he saw G's first hit.
Mm-hmm.
And Mariano also?
Mariano also.
All right.
Let's see who else saw it. I did. John Sterling did.
Susan Wallman.
Susan Wallman did. Girardi didn't see it. Our director, John Moore. Gene Monahan. Steve Donahue.
There's 2 good calls right there. Robbie Kakuza?
Probably, yeah. Swing and a miss. Jeter down on strikes.
Charlie Wanson was, of course.
Charlie Wanson saw it. So the Yankees are down to their final out. And that'll leave it up to Curtis Granderson, who's actually scored all 3 of the Yankee runs tonight. And all 3 after walking. Gardner is at third. Granderson is at 364 against the Blue Jays this year. 3 homers and 7 ribbies. In fact, Francisco's first pitch of the season this year was hit for a home run by Granderson. Two and one. Kevin Gregg was the closer last year for the Blue Jays, but he left as a free agent, signed with Baltimore, and he's really struggled with the Orioles. The 2-1. 3-1. Can Granderson walk for the 4th time? Mark Teixeira is on deck. ball, kept hooking. And Granderson stumbled around first, gets back, and will take another hat.
See Granderson, though, digging in there, having good at-bats. As soon as that ball was hit, I mean, it was a home run, it was foul ball. Tissa didn't even move at right field. Ball hit right on the nose, but just hooked a little bit too much. Oops. So frustrated, he tripped over the base.
Foul ball to the right of the pole. Here's the payoff. And the payoff again. Swung on and missed it. That'll do it. Yankees lose this game 7-3. In the ninth, no runs a hit, no errors, and one man left on base. The Blue Jays with that 6-run sixth inning, or 5-run sixth inning, make that hold up, and they beat the Yankees 7-3. Stick around for the postgame show to find out who's tonight's Chevy Play of the Game. Bautista with his 19th homer of the year. That was